Nkechi, you're welcome. I see you. Dorcas, I see you. Okay. So please confirm me you can hear me clearly also because we're about to start. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, that's lovely. You are all welcome. And basically, today we're talking about how to speak so children can listen. And we have a very lovely guest with us here today. Her name is Ibukun Johnson, and she's a dedicated teacher. She's a coach and she's also a social impact advocate. And her passion is basically to empower young minds. She basically specializes with educating the early years and younger children. And she does this by creating an engaging experience that fosters their growth, their creativity, and their social responsibilities. So today she will be sharing her expertise as an educationist and an early years tutor, and also her experiences, and she'll be telling us how we can speak so our children can listen. We know this is a major challenge for us as women. It's hard to just get the kids to listen. So I look forward to this mind-blowing session. So please, can you type in the comments what are your expectations for today's session while we have Miss Ibukun take the floor. You're welcome, Ibukun.
Good evening, Ma. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to be here. And apparently, this is my first live on Instagram. So, once again, I'm very much glad to be here. Ah, so, today we'll be looking at how to speak so children can listen. And there are some key words in that phrase, how to speak so children can listen. The first one, speak. The second one, listen. And one other important one we need to take note of is children. So first, I know we are so eager to know how to speak so children can listen, but I think one of the main things that we should focus on first is, why do children not listen? For many of us would have had experiences of dealing with children, telling them to do one thing and they do the complete opposite, or you talk to them and it just seems like you're speaking totally different languages. So we first have to understand that, why is it that I'm speaking to my child and my child is not paying attention, my child is not listening to me? That's something we should first focus on. So those are the things I'll first begin with. Now, one of the reasons why we speak and children don't listen is, I know it sounds simple, but it's just because they are kids. Kids are kids. And when I mean they are kids, I'm trying to let you know that they are children with young minds, they are innocent, they are experimental, they they like the idea of jumping around, doing what they want to do, they are spontaneous, and so much more. So because they are children, they will always be children. At least for this time frame, they will always be children. They will act like children, they will talk like children, they will do basically anything as children, except there are some exceptions too. We have people that act even more mature than their age. But aside that, children will always be children. So that's one of the things we have to take note of. Usually, for parents, for teachers, and for aunties and uncles, one of the issues we have is we try to treat those children like they are robots, like they are adults. You want them to do something. Oh, I need you to do this, do this, do this. And you just want to control them. You want to impose your thoughts. You want to impose your ideas. You want to impose your opinions and your will on them. But that does not work because they are children. And you can't have them do exactly what you want them to do. So that's one of the things that we need to keep in mind. And someone defined a child as someone who wants to be heard and someone who wants attention. So I think that's the definition that I'll go with tonight. A child is someone that wants to be heard and that wants attention. So if any of these two is missing, definitely the communication between you as a parent and your child will definitely have rough edges. There will be problems between trying to get them to listen and to do what you want, and also them trying to communicate their needs to you. So now the second reason why your child is not listening to you is because you are also not listening. You are not listening. As a parent, one of the things that one of the skills that you need to cultivate as a parent is the listening skills. And not just listening for listening's sake. I mean active listening. Listening so well and so much that you can understand exactly what is making them do what they are doing. It's when you listen actively that you can know that, oh, my child is doing this and this and this because he's probably hungry, or he's tired, or he just feels his peers are doing this thing, so that's why he wants to do this. So there are so many reasons why your child is doing what he's doing, but because you don't listen actively, you're not paying attention. You just want what you want, and it has to be done the way you want it. So usually because of that, you can't get your child to listen to you because you yourself, you are not listening. That is another reason. Third, and I know some of us want to argue with this, but it's just the truth, and that's the trait patterns. If you look at your child clearly, like if you're being sincere with yourself, you will see that some of the characters that you're exhibiting, or they are exhibiting, sorry, are also were gotten from you, but you just did not realize. So they picked genetically and also from what they see, some of this attitude that you are trying to even curb out from them. For example, you may be saying, oh, my child, you're too stubborn, you're too stubborn, you're too this, you're too that. But if you look at it very carefully, you're also a stubborn mother, you're also a stubborn father, but you don't like to see it that way. You believe that everything good from my child is from me, but every character that is bad that they exhibit is from, I don't know, somewhere else. You just like to think and act that way. But if you want to be very sincere and you want to have an introspect of everything, you will see indeed that some of the characters they're exhibiting was just gotten from you as their mother or as their father. So if you agree, please, I want to see your comments. For some of the other reasons, I'm going to be mentioning them in dealing with how to speak so your children can listen. And I know many parents complain that they speak and it seems their children are not paying attention, they're not answering them. And it gets frustrating, especially for a parent that has to juggle so much, dealing with school, dealing with school activities, that's everything regarding the schooling for the child, dealing with their own personal lives, dealing with their husband, especially as a woman, dealing with work, and so many other engagements. I can imagine. So all those things like that are something that can be really, really stressful for you as a mother. So yes, I can see now. My daughter is very calm, and I think it's from my husband and I. So you see, so some of this trait they got it from you too, and it's good as we can realize that, and us realizing it helps as a foundation for dealing with this issue. So now, how do we make them listen? How do we make them listen? The first thing I'm going to say is that children are little, let me call them little people. Children are little people. One thing you should know is they are not robots. You can't control them to do what you want them to do. You can't force them to do what you want them to do. They have their minds, they have their will, they have their personality, they have their character, they have what is inside them that they want to do. So don't think that by doing, oh, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, they will do it. Even you yourself, to be very honest with yourself, even as an adult, is there everything that your parents tell you to do that you still do? No, just answer sincerely. Be sincere. Is it everything that your parent tells you to do that you actually do? No, because you have a will, you have a person, you have a personality. That's the same way with these kids too. But we like to see them like robots, like an electronic device, accept data, process the data, and bring out information. That's how we think it works. So they just accept for example now, don't jump on the bed. They receive it, accept data, then it processes, and they just spit it out. They bring it out as information, and they don't jump on the bed. So if you keep looking at it that way, that they are children, that they are, because they are children, you have the right to control them. You have the right to impose your will on them. It will affect so much in your relationship. So as a parent, one of the things you should understand, reorient yourself. Just tell yourself that they are not robots, or my children are not robots. They are human beings. They don't have my perspective. They don't have my thought patterns. They don't have my traits. And they don't have the experiences of life yet. But still, they are children. They are children. And because they are children, they are humans. And because they are humans, they are not robots. So just know that. And this will help you even as you groom children around you, and even as a teacher too. So this is not just for parents or mothers, it's also for fathers, intending mothers, and teachers, and everyone that have to work around children. So that's one. Now, secondly, you have to listen to them. You want to get child to listen to you. First, listen to them. Know what they are telling you and what they are not telling you. For example, oh, let me give this very funny scenario. Now, a child comes to me and tell me, Miss Ibk, I want to dye my hair. Let's say, which color? Purple. I want to dye my hair purple. If it's the typical African mother or father, they will say, in which house? You cannot dye your purple in my house. You know, the first thing we'll do is just to shut them off and cut it out immediately. We don't even want to hear any extra explanation. They should not stress with anything. Just shut that thought immediately. That's our first response. But one of the things we need to take note of is we have to listen. Actively listen. Understand what they are telling you and what they are not telling you. So now, this is what active listening looks like. When the child tells me that, I'll say, oh, okay. You repeat what they say. Oh, okay, you want to dye your hair. Oh, okay. Then allow them to talk. So while they are talking, they'll be saying all kind of things. I think this purple hair is very beautiful. It makes sense. Just keep quiet and pay attention. The more you pay attention, that's when you realize that most of the times, for most of them, it's just because their friends are doing it. That's why they are doing it too. Or that's why they want to do it. You realize that child wants to dye his hair purple because he saw that most of his classmates or most of the people you see online are dyeing their hair purple. So he didn't even have to even say so much. Now, as a teacher, as someone that stays around today, what should I do then? Am I to say the next thing? Oh, no, it's not purple that you do. What's the meaning of that? Are you a child of the devil? I just go down mode. No. You will lose them automatically. When you lose them automatically, it will not help at all because you don't even want to lose that with your child. They will not be able to trust you well enough to tell you things. Do you understand? They will not be able to trust you well enough to tell you things. So what you should do at that moment is, okay, so you want to dye your hair. Then when the child talks and say this, then you now say, oh, actually, I can see that you want to dye your hair purple because your friends are dyeing purple. Why do you think dyeing your hair purple will make you also fit in? From there, conversation has ensued, and you'll be able to deal with the root cause. But because of the kind of people that we are as African parents, the first response we want to give is the response of fight. It's the response of defense. It's the response of just hitting that issue and discarding it because we are not putting the feelings of our children into consideration. So empathize with them. Understand why they want to do what they want to do. Listen to. Take note of it. Oh, my child is asking for 50,000 because by listening actively and carefully, you understand why they need that money and if you should give them or not. So that's another second thing on how to make them listen to you. You yourself, listen to them. Now, the third one is be explicit on what you want them to do. Be explicit on what you want them to do. You need your child to get something. Say it. Oh, let me use a girl's name, Favor. Favor, I need you to get this and this. Put it in the bin. Don't just say, Favor, bring that thing for me. Which thing? Does not have a name. And put it where? And just put it at the back of that door. You are not being explicit enough. Under this explicitity is also you speaking their language. Speaking it in a way that it does not fly over their heads. Don't say so big and so great. Just as little as that. Okay. There's a question here that fully dwells in the bosom of a child. How do we get rid of the foolishness? Oh, very soon. We'll soon deal with that. So we'll deal with that because that's a very important question. Now, as I said, don't allow it to fly over their head. Make sure you're explicit enough. And as a teacher, you want to talk to your children in a way that it's enticing for them. It's exciting for them. You've leveled yourself down to a child and you've animated everything you are saying so well and so much that they are even much more interested in listening to you. So the thing is, you can't work with a child if you yourself don't carry the heart of a child. That's just the truth. Because sometimes when they start to do some things, instead of you to just get upset and say, oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing like this? You start to laugh because you can see yourself in their shoes. You can understand their very little and limited perspective. And you can give them room to even grow them more. So be explicit in what you want them to do, with what you want them to do, sorry. Next is one of the tricks that works, even though it's not so advisable to keep using that over and over again, is the idea of reward and consequences. So when you get them to do something and they do it well, you give them rewards. The rewards can be as money. That's not so. It should not be something that happens all the time anyway. Money, and that money should be like once in 2 or 3 months. But when it comes to the reward I'm talking about, I mean things like, "Oh, you did so well today. That's so nice." Encouraging words, something that will give them the heart to even want to continue over and again. Now, let me give you this scenario. Let's say you've been telling your child over and over again, clean your room, arrange your bed, clean your room, arrange your bed, and the child is flying over his head. Or his entry ear is coming out through the other ear, right? As a parent, what are you to do? The day the child now finally cleans the room, don't come to the room and be saying, see how you even arrange the room safe. The bed sheet, you did not put it inside this very well. Look at, see where you even kept your shoes. No. That's not the best way to deal with it. And you will not get the best from the child by doing that. So what do? You come in and say, wow, you cleaned your room. It's looking really nice. You did well with the bed. Just there and then you encourage them, make them feel good, make them feel better. Then probably some other time you say, come, let me teach you a special trick that can help your bed sheet to stay very well within the bed. Then you show them, okay, you tuck this part in, you tuck this part in, you put it this, you put it, that helps them to even be more free and open with you. But if you're that type that is very quick to criticism, very quick to complaining, very quick to shouting, you will not get them to listen to you. And they won't even listen because the way you used to think as a parent already, when you're a child, when your mom is talking, your mind, you cannot say it out anyway, but your mind is like, oh, let she talk, finish. Let she talk, finish, we go move. That kind of thing. So just when you understand this, reward and consequences. Now, for the part of consequences, don't do it so much that it becomes too regular and it looks like you are being wicked to them. Let them know that pushing a child or pushing someone else is wrong. And this is the consequence of doing this. Or stealing is wrong. Now, this is the consequence of doing this. If you are not giving them a punishment or a consequence, don't be that mother that is too emotional. For example, you tell a child, if you do this again, I'm going to withdraw screen time, or I'm going to ground you, or you're going to kneel down or do this. Then because you take away the child's phone or the child's tablets and the child start crying, then because you are too soft, a softy mother, the next thing you want to do is, oh, don't worry, take it. It doesn't work that way, and that's not the best method. So what you should do as a mother is, when you give out your punishment, be strict with it. Even if they cry from now to tomorrow, you will hold them like this and say, sorry, don't cry, but what you did was not good, don't do it again. Don't be that person that will say, oh, his cry is disturbing me, take, leave this place. Or that particular thing that you said you will not give them, you are now giving them, or you are now doing those things that you said you will not do. So that's something that will help you to allow your children listen even much more better when you speak to them. Then next is, I know this is a part that you probably will not expect, but it's going to be very important for you as a mother, as a father, intending mother or father, or teacher who wants to get his or her child to listen. And that's bonding with them. There cannot be a relationship without connection. You want them to do something, they don't even understand why they should do it. You don't give them that room well enough where they are free to even express their own thoughts about what you want them to do, but yet you want them to do just because. Remember, as I said earlier, children are not robots. And because they are not, they have their will, they have their minds, they have their intentions, they have what is in their hearts that they want to do. So then, creating a bond between your child will help you to understand them even better, and will help them also to understand you a lot better. So Dr. Daniel Amen gave a recommendation that every day you should set out 20 minutes, every day, 20 minutes to bond with your child. And that involves playing games, whatever games they want, anything at all that your child just desires to do at that moment should be what you should do. And then when you are doing that, you are no more an adult. You are no more a mother or a father or anything. You are just a simple child. So even if the child brings a game that you know the rules already, don't say, I know this how to play it now. Why are you doing it like this? Let the child dictate the rules. Oh, mom, if you do like this, you're out. If you do like this, I win. Just agree and accept. Be a child again. It helps. It helps. So you need them to listen to you, and you don't build a connection with them. How well do you think that will work? Just think about it. How well do you think that will work? So we have to take note of that. Now, regarding the question that she asked earlier about sparing the word and spoiling the child, you know, the children of nowadays, they are very wonderful, to say the very least. And when I mean wonderful, I think you should have an idea what I mean by wonderful. They are the kind of children that you say do this, and it's the very opposite that you find them doing. Or you even tell them, get this done, and they'll ask you a question like, why? Why? You know, for someone that when you were growing up, you dare not even question your mom's or your dad's statements. Now you have children that are so bold and so confident enough to ask that why. Someone was saying something earlier that in those days when you are trying to get your child to do something, you don't even have to say much. See, she said even my 2-year-old loves to ask why. You see, so then you don't get to even do so much. You just look at the child, just the eye. You know, as an African, you should know the eye. That particular eye is enough to silence every noise. But children of nowadays, when you give them the eye, they say, "Mom, why are you looking at me like that?" Oh, Mom, why are you pinching me? You know, that's what they will do. Why are you pinching me? Why are you touching me like that now? It's paining me. So, for you as a mother, for you as a father or intending father or mother, what you should take note of this. We've evolved past that age. We've evolved past that period. Don't be someone that will not say, me, during my time, I cannot talk to my mother like that. Why would this child talk to me this way? You and them are in two different generations. You are growing up with different ideologies around you. You are growing up with different perspectives around you. So everything about your thought pattern will be very different. Mommy, what happened to your eyes? You see? So because it's going to be different, you can't expect that what worked for you while you were a child will work for them. So here's what you need to do. You need to be able to create that balance. Still instill the discipline, but also be flexible enough to answer. So if you ask you why, you said yes. Don't say because why has a long tail and 2 branches. No. Why does not have a long tail and 2 branches? It's WHY we're talking about. So here's what you say. You say you need to arrange your bed, because if you don't arrange your bed, it will look untidy, and if you don't clean your room, it will be smelly and dirty. Just be able to explain things to them. This is a learning phase for them. This is a learning phase. And if they don't learn the right things, the world will teach them the wrong things. I repeat, if they don't learn the right things, the world will teach them the wrong things. So make sure that at this stage, while they are still curious, while they are still ready to stay around you, you are open enough to explain things to them. Mommy, why should I do this? Explain it. I know it's tiring and annoying, but please, by all means, explain it to them. Yeah, that's it. Now, one of the things we'll say is, some days I just wake up and I'm having to deal with so much. You know, let's say, for example, someone staying in Lagos now. You wake up as early as 4, you prepare the meals for the children, you take them to school, you go to work, you're having to deal with a very annoying boss. Mind you, I've not even mentioned the traffic. You're spending like 3 or 2 hours in the traffic. Then you leave the work, you're on the road, you spend 3-4 hours on in the traffic. Then you have to come back home, and you know, you're not saying, Miss Ibk, you're telling me that I should not sit and be listening to them. You know, children, they can talk. They'll just tell you something that is, Jesus. Like where I used to, so the children I'm teaching, they will say things like, Miss Ibk, my mommy did this answer. Miss Ibk, my brother did that. Miss Ibk. You know, I can imagine as a parent already how that will feel for you, having to deal with so much. They're still coming to meet children that are talking so much, but still, there's something I want you to know, and that's intentionality. You have to be very intentional, and you have to still listen. You just have to. Do you know that it's even from those little talks that you find out one or two about their friendships, their relationships, even their crush? That's when you know that, oh, they have a crush on this person, or they like this person. That's when you know some of the things that they are prone to do and the ones that they are being influenced already to do. Do you understand? So this is it. As a parent, right? You are like, should I say like, or you are a somewhat dysfunctional person trying to raise a functional child in a dysfunctional society. So yeah, a somewhat dysfunctional person, because to be honest, you have your traumas, you have your issues, personal issues that you've not even learned how to wrap your head around it or to resolve it. And you're trying to raise a functional child But the problem is this functional child you're trying to raise is in a dysfunctional society. So how do you think you'll be able to blend and manage these things together? It's intentionality. You just have to be intentional. Intentional with everything regarding your child. This is who you have left, not the work, not the traffic, not the money, not anything, but this child. The Bible says, train up your child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So you want to do your best, raising your child with so much intentionality and grace that when they grow up, they become the best, right? They become the best version of themselves. So now, with this too, you also understand open communication. If you want to increase the communication between you and your child, let the communication lines be open. Don't be that person that your child cannot come to talk to about things. And why I mentioned this part of being a dysfunctional mom, trying to raise a functional child in a dysfunctional environment, is because the very first response for us as parents in dealing with our children to listen to us is anger. It's allowing our emotions to rile up so much and so greatly that it controls everything we do. And that's part of why they don't even understand you and they cannot listen, because then you are so angry, there's so much emotions coming out of you, and you are just spitting off so much words. You don't do this, you don't sweep the house, every time I keep complaining. So if the child is a teenager, you say something like, she don't start again. But if the person you're talking to is just a very little child, in her mind she'll probably like, mommy does not like me, or she'll start crying, or she'll become very, very emotional, but she will not even bother to even listen to you. She'll just pick up a toy and start playing with it. So then it even gets worse for you and becomes much more frustrating. After all the stress you're going through, you told them to do a very simple thing and it seemed like they didn't even hear. As if so what you want to do now is to allow your emotions rile up so much. The chemical everything within you is now rising so greatly that you have two responses now, because how you feel at that moment has to be dealt with and it's only two ways that you can deal with it. First, fight. Second, flight. So fight in the sense that you start to pound them and beat them and slap them and just say all manner of things that you don't even mean, or you just leave that place. And usually, to be honest, most of the parents, or most of, you know what I mean, most of the moms, they use the fight method. They feel that dealing and pouring out their frustration and their anger on that child is the best way to deal with the issue. And I'm sorry to tell you, or I'm happy to tell you, that that's not the best way to deal with the issues. So you as a mom, what you need to do, you want your child to listen to you, right? And you are frustrated. And you are angry, and it seems like their anger is making you angrier. So what you need to do is, at that moment, you can't do so much. So just take a deep breath. You breathe in, out, exhale, go again, out. Do it like 3, 4, 5 times. At that moment, I mean in the heat of the moment, when it seems like you people don't understand each other again, just do that first. That will first help you to calm down a little. Then if possible, if you can, just leave them for a while. Just leave them. Because if you start talking, you will say things you don't mean. And you can see a child come meet your mom and tell her, oh, mommy does not love me. Excuse me. Mommy does not love me. She said this. She said I'm stupid. She said I don't know what I'm doing. You know how children can be, especially the fragile children that are raising these days. They are so fragile. They don't have that emotional resilience and all. So you cannot tell them something. They will twist it and twist it and twist it and turn it into something else. They say, mommy does not like me. Mommy does not do this and that. And that's not the impression that you want to have or leave on your child. So if you can, you leave. Now, there's a statistic show that when you leave a place, the frustration leaves your heart at least 90 seconds after you leave a place. So all you need is 90 seconds most times. Or let's just say 3 minutes. Then you'll be fine. Then you go back to address that issue. So I'm letting us know that in the heat of the moment, in trying to make our children listen to us, we should not be so concerned about controlling them, pushing them, forcing them, and imposing our thoughts, our will, our intentions, our desires on them. That's not the best way to deal with the issue. I hope you're still with me. So, as I said before, a child is someone that needs attention. A child is someone that wants to be heard. So that's two things. Give them attention. Let them feel heard. Give them attention. Let them feel heard. So if they ask a question, even if you're tired and you just want to deal with life, you just want to do other things that you think are much more important, I think you should answer those questions. Because at the end of the day, the children are the most important, not what you think. They are the future, your future. So if you don't pay attention to them right now, they may not pay attention to you when it's time. So next, I also want to point out that there is no perfect parenting style. There is no perfect parenting style. Don't think I must learn to do my parenting like this so that I can get this particular result. It doesn't work that way. There is no one manual that works for all kinds of children because there are different personalities within each children. They act different ways at different times. So all these things I'm even saying are things that you should apply at different scenarios and different situations. So don't think I must do like this at this particular time and that's how I have to do at every other time. No, it doesn't work that way. So here's what to do. Because there's no perfect parenting style, make sure that you are able to pick a specific parenting style for a specific scenario. So there are times when you need to be calm. Just be calm. There are times when you need to be firm and let them see that you are firm. Be firm. There are times when you need to outsource this issue. Oh, let them talk to their aunt or talk to their uncle or someone else at that particular moment. Do that. So with your parenting style, be flexible enough around it that you can deal with several issues using these different styles. Don't stay relaxed on one. Don't be too flexible that you allow them do what they want to do. And don't be too disciplined and rigid that they don't have that freedom also to be expressive. They are children. They are still growing. They are in their developmental stage and they need as much help as they can get. I hope you're with me and I hope you are getting value. So this generation children, I have to address this. These are children of this generation. They are very wonderful again. So as someone who wants to get them to listen, don't let them see you like an enemy. Don't be too mean with them. Don't think everything is violence, violence, violence. That it worked for you because when I was growing up, my parents they taught me like this, so I must teach my own parents like this. No. It does the way they taught you and what you've become. If you want to be honest with yourself, you know that you did not turn out so perfectly anyway, even though there are actually advantages to how they raised you. But yet, you still have to remember that they are not the kind of children that we have this age. Those children then are not the same with this age. Everything has evolved. The culture, the ideologies, the method, even their exposure to. A child that is 3 years old already knows how to operate the phone very, very soundly. A child that is 4 years old knows where to go to on YouTube to type this and this cartoon character, Coco Melon, this, at 4. So there's so much around them that they're exposed to, and you have to do your own part rightly. Be free enough and flexible enough that they listen to you, and also be firm enough that when you let them know that I don't like this, let them know that you don't like this. And that's one of the mistakes that most parents make. They don't explain it well enough. They don't explain it well enough. They don't know how you are feeling behind this thing. The child is wasting food. You just have to beat the child. No. Let him know. Do you know that there are some children that don't have food? Amos, this food they are wasting are some people's prayer points. You can type something out on YouTube and show them a video of children eating from the gutter, eating from dirty streams and all, and just show it to them. Let them see. So when they see it too, even by themselves, they understand better why you want them to do what they are to do. Do you understand? But if you don't explain it, they don't know. They just want to waste the food because, well, that's what they feel like doing. Or one day you not say, okay, you want to waste food, right? Today, they're going to school with Gary and granola. So you know how it feels to not eat very well for a day. Next time, you not waste food. So some of the things these are some of the things that are supposed to chip in at one point or the other. Now, if you have any questions, as I said before, please feel free to drop them. For the first question that I had earlier, asking about sparing the rod and spoiling the child, I don't know if at the course of this I've been able to answer it already. What I'm trying to just point out is balance. You want them to listen to you. Yes, they will listen to you. But if you don't create that balance, you will not get the best. Be firm where you need to be firm. Be calm where you need to be calm. Don't be that mother that they run away from. Don't be that mother that is always about herself. Now, that's another thing. Detach yourself from the emotions you're feeling. You know, most times emotions are fluid. Frustrations too can make us feel like the world is against us. After a stressful day at work, after having to deal with my husband, after having to deal with church, after having to deal with this, and this child just come. He wants to kill me. He hates me. What kind of child is this? You are feeling that way. You are feeling your child is doing that to you because of how you feel at that moment. You feel frustrated. So yes, if the child disobeys you, the next thing is to just add to that frustration, to the bucket of frustration in your heart. You are feeling that way because of how much this emotion is building within you. Do you understand? So if you detach yourself from how you are feeling and detach yourself from the emotion, come down to their level. Come down to their level. One big major thing I'm still going to emphasize on is manage your expectations with children. Manage your expectations with children. Don't expect so much from them because they are children. I just said it. They are children. Children are what? Children are little people. Children are little humans, still growing, still building up perspective, still building up experiences, still building up anything and everything about life. So you can't expect them to do it the way you want them to do. I have a pupil. She's someone that is really, really active in class. Someone that likes to do things. And there's one day she was trying to help our other classmates to, I think, to pour his water in his cup or something. And she just poured everything on the table. Oh, God. I had to breathe in and breathe out first. So what I did was to understand that this is the kind of person that she is. Someone that likes to help out. Someone that is active enough to do things for you. And what she was doing then was just to be helpful. She just wanted to help. But it turned out wrongly anyway. But still, she wanted to help. So what am I to do at that moment? Because I've understood that she's not an adult. She probably does not know how to balance her hand with pouring water very well. Or she's not so careful because she's a child. You know, children, always jumping, always active, always their body, their blood is always pumping. The sugar level in them is in a great level. So because I understand that, my response to that will be different from how someone else that has not managed his or her expectation deals with that issue. Do you understand? So manage your expectations with children. Do expect them to do adult things. Don't turn your child into an adult. Your child is still a child. Let him grow. Let him learn. I had a lecturer then. I was in his office. Then his child came around, and the child was playing on his table. He would go from the table and jump down, go up on the table and jump down. Then after a while, the child fell down. So I was trying to say, "Oh, sorry." I said, "No, leave him. He will learn that jumping and coming down, going up the table and coming down is not something you should do all the time. One, then two, he will learn to deal with his pains and his suffering by himself. So he should know that even if I fall, I don't enjoy myself, so I just dust off and move on. So allow your child some level of independence. Allow them to do some things by themselves. Some of the reasons why you're upset and you are this annoyed and it feels like they're not listening to you is because even you yourself, you've not managed your expectation. You expect them to do this, to do this, to do this, and to do that. Understand, they are still children. You say, Strip, watch the plates. They do not wash it very well. They are still children. They are still learning. Even you at this stage of your life, you're also learning. So why do you think that your children will do it perfectly when you yourself are not even perfect? You've not learned it to the end. You've not learned it to the latter. So why do you think that your children at that age will be able to do it perfectly? And because of how the country is, most times we like to turn our children to adults so that we can take off some burdens off our shoulders. But it's not so helpful. As much as that helps in helping them with independence and all, you also have to balance that enough that they remain children, even while they are learning to be responsible. Do you understand? I hope you're still with me, and I hope you are learning. So, the part I mentioned about, we are still under how to speak so your children can listen. Knowing that some of these attributes that they're exhibiting are also in you. They are traits that they picked from you. If they are stubborn, you check yourself. Which I'm stubborn. How do you used to deal with your own stubbornness? Oh, sorry. Does your husband deal with your stubbornness? That should give you an insight on how you should deal with your child's stubbornness too. I guess. Do you understand me? What else? What else? You are someone that likes to do things your own way. How does your husband deal with you when you try to do things your own way? It should help you to understand how to handle your child when he or she wants to do things his own way. So now let me just give a slight recap. First, to get your child to listen to you, you have to listen to them. You have to listen to them. Secondly, you have to calm down and manage your expectations. Calm down. When I mean calm down and manage your expectations, within that is also you saying things rightly, using the right words, being careful with your statements, managing your emotions and understanding that emotions are fleeting, they are fluid, and because they are not permanent, you can't act on that emotion at that particular moment. At that time, you may be feeling so much anger, so much pain, so much everything, and it just seems like the world is against you. 30 minutes later, you're all fine, and you feel like, oh, the children are the best gift God gave me. You see how fluid your emotions are. So don't dwell so much on how you feel at that moment. Try to come down to their level to understand what they are saying and what they are not saying. That's the second one. Thirdly, do the method of rewards and consequences. When they do well, encourage them. Let them know, oh, you did so well. Wow. Even if it's not so well, but at least for their level and for their age, they did well. So encourage them. Don't be someone that is quick to criticism. Don't do that. And don't compare. Don't compare your child with another child. Or don't compare your child's childhood to your own childhood. Don't do that. Don't do that. Then the consequence part, let them know that when you do this, you are punished. When you do this, you are beaten. When you do this, you don't get this again. So this entitlement mentality that some of these children are developing now, it will be curbed. But if you keep allowing them and just letting them, it won't help. Now, under this, one thing you should know is don't resort to punishment all the time. Don't be that person that you don't want to talk too much. Go and kneel down. Go and face the wall. Go and do this. You just want to send them off. One thing with those punishments that if you keep doing them over and over again, times without number, the child does not understand what he's being punished for. Secondly, you do it too regularly that after a while they get immune to it. After all, she will sit down and kneel down. Oh, they can't face the wall. They will be playing with the wall. Very funny set of children. Or they'll just find something that will be keeping them busy while they are still serving that punishment. Or you tell them no screen time. No problem. So don't be so quick to go after punishment. There are still other things you can do too. Because if you do that, you will deal with the issue on the surface, but you will not deal with it from its very root cause. So with this too is active listening. Understand them. Listen to them. Know why they are doing what they are doing. Sometimes because they are tired. Sometimes they are hungry. Sometimes they just want to sleep. Sometimes they don't even understand what they are saying. If you don't understand all these things, how would they listen to you? Another time, so they don't even know. They are wasting food. They don't understand how important food is. They see food every day. They don't know how much you are spending to buy it. If you let them in on some of this information, it will help too. But because you are not saying too much and you're not ready to calm down and speak to them, it just seems like two of you are speaking and you don't understand each other. Then, as I said before, bond with your children. Bond with them so much that as much as you're firm, you're also disciplined. So you do use one hand. As they say, you use your left hand to beat the child, you use the right hand to draw them close. I think something like that. So that's something you should put in mind while taking care of a child. Remember, as I said before, a child is someone that wants to be heard and wants attention. So look for these two things in your child's attitude. Sometimes it's just attention. Sometimes you want to be heard. And when I mean heard, you may not say it out loud, but just look at that child and know exactly what he wants. You can tell that. Oh, you look at child, I think what's disturbing this one is he needs food. You give him food, he'll be fine. Or he wants the sweets that I'm licking. In this space, I mentioned earlier, balance does not mean that every time, because you want to give them allowance, you allow them to do what they want over and over again. But still give that room for them to know that you don't get everything you want. Let them learn delayed gratification. Because you want it does not mean I'll give it to you. Don't let their entitlement mentality build up so high and so great that they grow up to become adults that are still childish. Let them learn these things and keep the balance still in check. So I'll be waiting for your questions. I believe some of you have questions. While I'm waiting for the questions, I will just point out for teachers, because some people are not your parents. If you are a teacher, one thing you should know is children will always be children. So don't take it personal when they act some way they act. Just understand that because they are children, they want to do things exciting. You say drop the book, they want to be flapping the book up and down. Sometimes allow them, other times let them know. If you keep flapping this book this way, it will tear. Let them understand that these are the consequences of doing this thing. So when you come down to their level and understand them for who they are, children, it will help you to relate better with them. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much. Please, can we give her a round of applause? Let's just appreciate her in the comments I learned so much. In fact, when you talked about face the wall, I used to do that for my son, and it used to just cause a lot of issues and just stress me out at the end. And wow, this is really, really a mind blowing session. I learned a whole lot. I took a whole lot of notes, things that I'm going to definitely practice. Please, do we have any questions? Does anyone have any question? Or if you have an experience you want to share, or you want to add one or two things, you can let me know and I will add you to the live session. Is there anyone that wants to say anything? Okay, I think there's a question. Ivy, can you see it?
Yes, but that's part. I think. What do you do when you give them a consequence, but yet they keep doing that thing over and again?
Yeah.
So, let me say there are two ways to deal with it. First, if you keep giving them a consequences over, sometimes, right, just be silent. Now, this is how it works. They are expecting that every time I do this, let's say every time I break a cup, mommy always tells me to kneel down, hands up, and raise up a stool or whatever. Now, those times when you just stay quiet and you're looking at them, or it just seems like you're not going to respond, they start to wonder what's going on. Should not tell me to kneel down. Should not tell me to raise up my hand. Ah, I'm scared. What will happen? At that moment now, something has changed. The routine has changed. They no longer expect what they were expecting earlier.
Mm.
And now, if you take advantage of it, after a while, you call them to yourself and tell them, this and this are the things you've been doing that I don't like. And now I've noticed that you've been doing it repeatedly. And it seems my punishment is not working anymore. Here, this is the point where you communicate with them as you would someone with emotions, as you would someone with understanding, with knowledge. Oh, you've been breaking this cup. Do you know how much I spent to buy it? Let them in on some of the issues you've been dealing with too. Bring them to that emotional corner where when you're even done talking itself, they'll start feeling bad that what I do is not good though, truly. That's one way to deal with it. Probably you can outsource it to someone else. You've been beating them, the thing is not entering. There are some people that you give you hand them over to. Probably someone they're afraid of. It could be their dad. I'm going to report to your dad and he will handle you. Just that particular matter, leave it over to their dad. If it's their uncle or their aunt or someone else that you know that they are scared of, and you know that when those persons handle the issue, there will be quite a lot of difference. That's the people you should hand them over to. But don't allow it to disturb you so much that you start to feel and have bad thoughts towards your child. Don't start to say, oh, he's stubborn, there's something wrong with him. All kind of thing. No, no. So those are two major ways to deal with it that I would recommend.
Thank you for that. Do we have any other question? For me, I think one of the major takeaways that I've gotten from this session is we learning to be more conversational with our kids than wanting them to always act and do things in a certain way. I know I'm guilty of that, so I try to go and work on it, try to be more conversational with my kids. So do we have any other questions? I don't think we have any other questions. Okay, I just want to say thank you for everyone that joined in. Thank you. I hope you were able to learn something that would help you in your parenting journey, whether you are currently a parent or not. We'll be having another session next week, Sunday. That will be a webinar on Zoom. You can check on our social media page for more details, and that will be on patiently parenting your kids, how you can unlock your inner calm to achieve better results. Okay, I think there's a comment, or is it a question? I struggled with
No,
this when I was a teacher. I learned the hard way like this. I was expecting so much from them, and because I did not have any trading or any training prior to that, it was during my NYC days. Okay. Okay. So I believe, NK, you've been able to at least pick one or two things that would help better. And thanks for acknowledging your struggle. And I know it's only going to get better for every one of us. So we'll be calling it a night. Thank you so much, Ibukun, for sharing with us your expertise and your experience. It's been a mind-blowing session, and everyone here can testify to that. So I wish you all a lovely night's rest. Thank you for joining. Please take good care of yourselves. I love you all. Bye.
Okay.